New from the Fox News Podcast Network.
I'm Emily Campagno, and this is the Fox True Crime Podcast.
And I had nothing to do with her disappearance.
I sit down with the people who lived the nightmares.
I was in shock. I was just devastated.
The investigators who tirelessly worked on the case.
And I really hope that they can catch this guy.
Bringing you closer to the story than you ever thought possible.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
These are the stories that keep you up at night.
As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The Purple Mafia, with your host, Paladino Joey.
Well, we'll see. The doctors would disagree, but what do they know?
So let's just say that you'll pay me because it's in your interest to pay me.
Is it worth it? I mean, you've won. Do you want to wipe everybody out?
I don't feel I have to wipe everybody out, Tom. Just my enemy. That's all. My father taught me many things. He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
These are wonderful things that we've achieved, and there's no limit to where we can go from here.
Welcome to the family here on Purple Mafia. It is draft time. We are ready for the draft special. I am your host, Paladino Joey, and with me once again is...
Sebastian Balls.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Absolutely. This is the draft show. We apologize. It's been a while. My schedule kind of sucks a little bit, and sometimes I get disoriented and stuck in my other shows. But this is the big show, and Sebastian, yeah, you've relocated back to where?
Minnesota, home sweet home.
Sebastian's back, ladies and gentlemen. He's back. Yes, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you very much. I am excited to be back, honestly. I got just home from the Twins game, and it's nice to see all the people. I mean, there's only about 1,000 people there, but everybody here is so friendly.
Mm-hmm. Are they? No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
comparatively. I have an announcement for all of you out there, though. Purple Mafia now has a sponsorship. That's right. Tallgrass out of Manhattan, Kansas. Tallgrass Brewing out of Manhattan, Kansas has agreed to sponsor Purple Mafia, Timberwolves Explosion, Brave the Wild, and Showtime and T-Wolves. They are they're a wonderful brewery. They provide to me a beer that I love, I swear by. Coolest can in the world. It is 8-Bit Pale Ale. If you could see Pac-Man licking his chops, you have found 8-Bit Pale Ale, and I highly recommend it. It's available locally at most liquor stores. So even though it's from Manhattan, Kansas, it pretty much covers most of the central time zone, you could say, of the United States of America. And it'll probably continue to bleed east and west, all that good stuff. There's also other great beers they have. If you like IPAs, a little more bitter than a pale ale, called Ethos. Now they've come out with their summer ale already, even though it's still snowy out, called Halcyon. That's a wheat ale. Very good stuff. Recently had the Velvet Rooster. That has got a high alcohol by volume, but a really nice, flavorful Belgian triple. It's very, very good stuff. Do recommend that as well. It's a red can, and it is something that sellers for a while. But yeah, do definitely check out those beers. Highly recommend it. You will enjoy them oh so very much. And you'll be hearing lots and lots about Tallgrass on this show and my other shows for hopefully a very, very long time.
Sounds pretty good.
Yes, it does. Yep. Yes, it does. Very excited about that. So, are we ready to wrap up, at least put a bow on free agency for the most part, even though free agency never really dies, but at least for the time being, it's going to die down a little.
Well, that was definitely a little bit more of a disappointing bow than I thought was going to go on.
Yeah, meaning Jared Allen leaving?
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's not just a point of leaving. Yeah. It's a point of who he went to.
Yeah, it's a division rival. I don't hate them nearly as much as the Green Bay Packers, but it's still a division rival. It is the Chicago Bears. Yes.
Hey, but at least we're not the Bears losing Peppers to Green Bay.
Yeah, that's the weird part. It's like musical chairs here. What the hell? So, yeah, Julius Peppers. Mm-hmm.
Where's the Ndamukong Suh?
Yeah, next thing you know, Ndamukong Suh comes to Minnesota. Yes.
No, thank you. Behavioral issues.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's the other thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That guy's a bit off his rocker, and he's been off his rocker pretty much from the get-go.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So, yeah, Jared Allen to the Chicago Bears. It's going to be, let's just say it's going to be interesting. Do appreciate his time here, though, without a doubt. It's hard to believe how quickly time flies. The very first show of Purple Mafia, the very, very first, episode number 1 of Purple Mafia, announced, and no, it wasn't breaking news, but it was discussing the acquisition of one Jared Allen. So to think of how quickly time has flown by.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is pretty nuts. I'm like, I know you've been doing the show a couple of years before I started listening, so that just shows how great of a host you've been throughout all this time, too.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been over 6 years already. January 2008. So, or excuse me, actually it was April 2008. So literally 6 years right now, literally as we speak. So, yeah, it's crazy. Happy birthday to Purple Mafia.
Yeah, watch it be the exact day.
Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, I might as well give that a look-see here in a moment. But the Vikings also signed former Eagles safety Kurt Coleman. Are you excited?
I'm honestly loving what the Vikings are doing for their depth, though. No, I've heard of Kurt Coleman.
Yeah.
Only because when you're playing Madden, you only hear of every depth guy known to man.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to kind of be like one of those like a video gamer with the sports. I mean, I was really like that with hockey a while ago. I love to play hockey games. For me, they seem to be the most fun, like, sports video game for me is hockey. For whatever reason, it just is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, then, too, it's because it's, it's fast-paced, it's intense, and...
Mm-hmm. Keep the puck on net, and yes, in the background, I have the Wild hockey game. They were winning 4-2. Now it's going to overtime. Yeah, I'm kind of ticked about that. Officially, Purple Mafia had its first episode on April 25th, 2008. So basically, it's happy birthday because it'll be the next show will definitely be after that with lawn cleanups coming in. So, yeah, I mean, Kurt Coleman, yeah, hey, I mean, nice to have a safety on new safety added. Really appreciate that. Definitely, the question will become later on: will the Vikings take a safety early in the draft? We shall see.
Yeah, that's definitely a big question to be asked too, and it's many questions. Mm-hmm. I think with the Vikings, we've got a big controversial spot, so that's something we'll touch on a little bit more later.
Mm-hmm. It's coming up, and basically right now it's time to hit it. Draft, and draft.
Woot, woot.
Woot, woot. The tease is over. It is officially draft time to talk regarding the Minnesota Vikings. And the $1 million question that everybody wants to know: do the Vikings take a quarterback in the first round or later with that 8th overall pick, or later?
8th overall pick for right now, supposedly.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They may trade up or down. Who knows?
It's scary to think we might trade up. I mean,
yeah,
I'm all in favor of having an early pick, but I feel like if we played good down the stretch, which we did, but it wasn't enough to save Frazier's job, that the 8th pick, it should be fine at the highest of what we should go.
Yeah,
because then start looking at getting rid of players or other draft picks to keep moving up, and it's just not worth it for us.
Yeah, and ultimately, usually it is draft picks, and it's usually way too many. And it's like you hope if it's a trade up, it's like to get back into the first round, per se, like for a Cordero Patterson last year or a Harrison Smith the year before. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a three-peat, actually, for a certain player I'm going to be getting highly into very soon. Or is it early second round? But, yeah, that's that certain player that I teased to on the Facebook page for those of you that were nice enough to check that page out during the last 24 hours or so. Might as well start with the guy that gets the most attention. Doesn't necessarily mean he's the best one, but Johnny Manziel. Yeah, Johnny Manziel. Zimmer has basically said he doesn't like him, basically, and that he's not enough of a film guy, all that good stuff. Is it a smokescreen or what's the deal?
I honestly, as a fan, I came out publicly and I said, hey, I'm a Johnny football fan. Just because I think, in a way, he's got that it factor for college. Does that come into play in the NFL? I'm not 100% sure. There's not enough film to say yay or nay. There's not enough experts to say, okay, this is what he can and cannot do. But if we were to think about it, too, we all talk about Johnny's behavior. Famous Joe Namath was a partier and a man whore. If we all remember correctly, he lived almost the exact same life just 40 years ago or something like that. It was way past my time. And nobody complained because he can perform on the field. And I honestly think if you can perform on the field, it doesn't matter. I know Adrian Peterson's got, 7 speeding tickets, and he's speeding past everybody on the field. Nobody's complaining.
Good point. Very good point. That's awesome. Very true. And he does have an it factor, without a doubt. He reminds me a bit of Brett Favre, the gunslinger, and I know it's like you don't want to compare this guy to that guy because everybody's different and all that good stuff, and it's too early to compare somebody to a Hall of Famer, but I'm saying more of the energy, the grit, the screw this, we're gonna do it my way, we're gonna win type of approach that Brett Favre had. Definitely got some happy feet, that's for sure. I mean, he's always looking to run, but when he does run, he is damn fast.
Well, that too. I think it's very safe to say that he's a lot like Brett Favre, only to the sheer fact of he compares himself to Brett Favre.
Yeah.
If the player can make his own assumption that he's like a legend quarterback, plus Michael Vick, if he combines both of his games and comes out publicly and says that, I don't mind him saying, okay, I'm like that guy, and I try to play like that guy, because that's fair to say.
Yeah, I mean, and it's nice to idolize a player like that and try to emulate them. I mean, Kobe Bryant emulated Michael Jordan. He's been fairly successful in the NBA. That's safe to say, regardless if we like him or not. But yeah, Johnny Manziel, definitely a gamer, without a doubt. That's what I come out of with Johnny Manziel, watching video on him, watching this, watching that. He's a gamer.
Oh, definitely a gamer. And I think he's a lot like Tim Tebow, to where Tebow has that it factor, and I pray to God somebody picks up Tebow. Because if you do, you will have somebody who will be there every single day. And I don't know why he got released, and I'm just going to quickly get into this tangent and get back out of it. But somebody, please pick up Tebow. He is a quarterback, and he can play. Sure, he doesn't have the greatest arm, but okay, well, neither does a lot of freaking quarterbacks. Look at Ponder. God.
Talk about lack of arm. I mean, Ponder has an arm. And yeah, I mean, and a lot of the quarterbacks I watched video on yesterday remind me of Ponder in terms of no special skills. And when there's no special skills, I'm done. I'm just done. You know, my eyes start to fall asleep right watching the video on the guy, this and that, reading about him, all that good stuff. Mostly watching video just to kind of get the vibe, what he's all about, this player, that player. I saw a lot of that as I was doing my extra homework last night. And the next player lined up here was a guy who was looked on as the quintessential number 1 overall pick to the Houston Texans, or if somebody else traded up. And that was Teddy Bridgewater. The water under the bridge. Uh-oh. Did I say that? No.
At this point, he really is water under the bridge.
Yeah. It's kind of it's funny how the name shows up that way. What I like about him, I mean, he looks good in a West Coast style offense, but I mean, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of special skills out of the guy that would warrant a number 1 overall pick or an 8th overall pick. Knock, knock.
Well, I think the one thing with Bridgewater too is coming into the draft, or even still before the draft, but coming into the offseason, everybody goes, Teddy Bridgewater, one way you describe him, most pro-ready quarterback there is. That's kind of slipped a little bit after his pro day, but I can honestly say if I played in pads 12 months out of the year, and then you told me to take off the pads and throw in front of 32 GMs, I might suck a little bit too, to be honest.
Yeah.
And if you looked at it, his final 4 or 5 games down the stretch, when there was pressure, he sucked horses blank.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. I mean, when somebody's not good under pressure, doesn't look good. And yeah, I mean, I can understand obviously being nervous in front of all those people, but at the same time, it should be your time to shine. Ultimately, when the pressure's on, you want to be the king, you want to be the man, and that's what certain players do, and a lot of players don't. Teddy Bridgewater, it's funny too because there's too many factors here that bug me. He doesn't really have an arm. He has small hands, which you talk about fumbling, and he has to wear gloves when it's like October or something. That's a red flag. And by the way, as much as I don't really care about the whole mobility of a quarterback, well, he's not mobile either. So it's like you kind of have all that together. It's like a lot added in one spot. So there was a while that I was intrigued by him, but now it's like not so much. Maybe second round, but not so much in the top 8.
Well, definitely too, and I think that's something that even the Vikings are seeing. When everyone says he was here for an extended period of time, no, he was here for a day that there was 42 other people scheduled for that came to Minnesota. So it's not like he was really scheduled an extra day as much as less. He was going to be here no matter what. It's just his days of visiting lined up here, and here, and then the days that he was supposed to, no matter what, come here were here. So I think people blow that a little bit out of proportion too. And they're like, oh my God, we're going for Bridgewater. Well, no, sorry.
Not necessarily, no. Yeah, it's just certain circumstances make things look different sometimes and send the wrong message. And yeah, that's just life in sports, that's for sure. Always some type of random news item that gets in the way. Are we ready to move on to another guy that, because the mock drafts, it's like shuffling a deck of cards with these quarterbacks, these quote-unquote top 3 quarterbacks in the draft. So the third one that some people believe that the Vikings are like in love with, that's a guy by the name of Blake Bortles. Talk has been that the Vikings will trade up to get him. Can you imagine that? Up to the number 3 pick? And that he's the guy they want, and they will make a move to get him. He is accurate. He has some good zip on the ball. He's kind of mobile when he needs to be, but it's a decent arm, not a great arm. And I like him to an extent. I like him more than Bridgewater. I like him more than this guy and that guy. But still, is there really an it factor to this guy that makes me say he's the one? I'm not so sure. I mean, maybe he will be. Who knows? Maybe the Vikings do take him and he not shocks, but he winds up being a fantastic player in this league. But I'm not so sure he is that guy.
Well, I think that's one of the big things too is it factor. My dad always said when I was growing up that there was something about Brett Favre. He could throw 3 interceptions, 3 straight series, but you knew that once he took the field again, that he had this look to him, that he was going to rip the living hell out of you, and he would, because he had that it factor.
Mm-hmm.
And he lacks it. He really does. And I love to say this because I'm going to beat you to your own punch. He comes from a school you absolutely hate.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love it very much, don't I? It's a never-ending. Yeah, Central Florida, exactly. See, it's like, that's cool. And what's the reason why we hate Central Florida?
Well, a good reason is Josh Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm personally happy we signed 3 cornerbacks that all happen to be almost on the same day as our last show, so I ain't complaining anymore.
Yeah, that's the good part. At least we have insurance at the cornerback position, without a doubt. Central Florida, it just seems like we've had zero luck with players coming from there. And just like with the Timberwolves in the past, when every time they take a player from Syracuse, it wouldn't work out. Yeah, Central Florida. It's like, I don't know.
Anytime they take a player from America, it doesn't seem to work out.
Oh, zing. Okay, look at this racket. Sorry about that.
That was a good sound effect. We got to get that on there more often.
Yeah. Breaking news as it happens, right?
Oh, that was like a good zing one, too. That was like perfect timing there.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know what, okay, the Wild just lost. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They blew it. I almost dropped an F-bomb, pardon me. But, pardon me, I'm very distracted now and I'm killing the show. I apologize, everyone. Now, it's like, do we move on to this next quarterback? This next guy. He's a guy we talked about earlier. I believe you like him as well. He's a younger brother of another quarterback that's been in the NFL that did not work out. From David Carr, we go to Derek Carr. Sorry, go ahead.
I can't believe David Carr was taken first overall, and now this is what's happened.
That's right. Yep, David Carr was taken first overall. Now you have Derek Carr bouncing around from the top 5, the middle first round, early second. Some mock drafts have him going all the way up to Cleveland, number 4. I think that's a bit crazy. Yeah. Yep, Walter Football.
I've seen one that's taken him in the 4th round.
Holy, 4th?
4th round, because they said he was overrated.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to make about him, really, to be honest with you. They talk about how experienced he is, strong arm, all that good stuff, good decision-making, field vision, all that good stuff. But ultimately, I mean, anxiety issues, small hands, not a running threat. I don't really care about the mobility too much, but yeah, I mean, he didn't have a very good he didn't have a very good level of competition. And what you also like about him, this is my favorite type of thing right here when you think about it. He can get flustered by a pass rush.
Well, I mean, so would I, but I'm not getting paid $8 million to sit in the pocket of a quarterback. But I was doing some more research on Derek Carr.
Yeah.
And after I had previously said I kind of fell in love with him for a little bit, I took another step back and I said, okay, who is this guy? Because I honestly wanted to put him in my mock drafts, and I think my very early one I did. And I was watching a whole bunch of video, and I saw 80% of his passes were within 5 yards. And that was immediately a red flag.
Yeah. That sounds like Teddy Bridgewater, pardon me, but yeah, that's very good. It really does.
Definitely. And it's one of those things, okay, yes, we've got Greg Jennings. He loves to catch the ball within 5 yards. Does he always want to do it? No.
No.
Cordero Patterson, we got him to burn and run. Let him burn and run, please. Jarius Wright, that's the only thing he does. Because, granted, I know you love him, and that's the only opportunity we ever give him. And granted, we don't have a quarterback that can throw it freaking 80 yards down the field, which would be really nice. Because if we had Dante Culpepper, that guy would be amazing at this point. But
I love Jarius Wright. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you brought him up. Yeah, I love him. And he'd probably work with Derek Carr to an extent, but then again, actually, Jarius Wright seems better, more in stride, doesn't he, than any type of screen pass and stuff like that.
He's actually really good at going in stride, turning around, and falling down and making a catch. I'm like, who is this guy? When I saw that, that was a great play. I can't even do that, and I'm 6 foot even.
Yeah, I'm a big, giant Jarius Wright fan. I don't think he's going to be a star in the league or anything, but he's a guy I want on this roster, and I want him getting passes thrown to. Derek Carr's numbers, obviously, when you think of lack of competition and you see touchdowns, or excuse me, you see numbers like this, yeah, touchdowns is definitely a key number. 50 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 5,082 yards. Yeah, it's definitely a competition type of thing, because if he was anything like this at any big college, he'd be the biggest number 1 pick ever. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how he threw 50 touchdowns, but he did. I really don't know other than it's a competition thing.
Well, I think too now. I think it was just rising up to the occasion. I think all of it's just a giant smokescreen at this point. Do I think he's got value? Yes. Do I think the team should draft him within this second to third round, sure, go right ahead. You're not taking too much of a chance there, except for getting a depth guy that you can process in defense for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
But there you're doing it at quarterback, and you're getting him into a system, and if you fit him in the right place, then definitely sure to work. But at that same time, you also have that should I, can I, would I do something like that, where it's kind of like, that's the thing with the draft. It's just one big toss-up.
Yeah, I mean, and ultimately, yeah, I mean, is he NFL ready? I would say not really. You know what I mean? Like, he's the kind of guy you have to bring in, obviously, and groom for a while before he can really be full-blown NFL ready to be like a full-time starter anywhere. Dare I say full-time starter? That's kind of like talking goofy there, but but you know what I mean. I don't think he's really quite ready for it yet, to be honest. Though obviously it's in the blood, kind of. Dare I say that? That was
did you just put starter and car in the same blood type sentence there?
No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah, I don't know if his brother lasted as a starter too long.
No, and it's funny too how, in a very super brief side note, when a franchise is starting, they get this number 1 overall pick. They pick a quarterback, and both times it failed with Cleveland and Houston so far with Tim Couch and David Carr. And I kept calling Derek Carr David Carr in the past, which is kind of silly. But shall we move on from Derek Carr? Yeah. Yeah. It's a guy that you talk about it factor. I watch videos on these other players, and I'm just sitting there saying, okay, he's good at this, and he's good at that. Including Aaron Murray, who I do like a lot, obviously. Yeah, I mean, and you know, we're talking about him with me last night. I do like Aaron Murray a lot as well. But a lot of these quarterbacks, it seems like when they make the big play, in a lot of ways, it seems like it was during horrible defensive breakdowns. You know what I mean? What I'm getting at here? A lot of these plays, sure, it's a good play and everything, and good on them for making it, but horrible defensive breakdowns were taking place while these great plays were made. But then you have a guy who, through his passing skills, his it factor, his ability to beat defenses, creates defensive breakdowns or makes plays out of what's available, makes plays out of his passing skills, timing the ball, putting the ball in the right spot, regardless if it's going deep, underneath, up the middle, in the corner of the end zone, whatever it is. There is a quarterback in this draft that I do believe, and a lot of people in the local media would tell you that there isn't really a quarterback in this draft that is something that could be special in this league. There really isn't anybody here. Like, maybe they will be, maybe they won't type of thing. That's just a bunch of maybes. But I do believe there is a quarterback in this draft. If there is going to be a star to come out, I believe it is LSU's Zach Mettenberger.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And when you say it factor, I honestly would recommend any listener to pause the show, bring up YouTube.
Yes.
And just watch the highlight film. Just put in Zach Mettenberger, LSU QB highlights. Just watch one of those, please. Because you'll see a guy who is facing the top of the top college defenses, remind you.
Yes, that's the thing. Yeah.
And he grabs into their heart, like in Dumb and Dumber, and rips it out, and then steps on it and beats him with a doggy bag.
Yes.
That's what he does. He literally does that to him. And it's this underneath type of route that goes right through the linebackers, right in between everybody. And he had good wide receivers. We've got good wide receivers for, I cannot believe we're actually saying this a year from what we did last year.
Yeah, really.
But we've got good receivers. Jarius Wright, I will disagree with Joey here, and I think he's got more potential. I think he is going to be a damn good wide receiver once we can get the right quarterback with him.
Cool. And yeah, hey, I'll let you continue. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. I think that he can honestly make anybody good. When they always say you're as good as your wide receivers, no. You're as good as your quarterback.
Yes.
If your quarterback can get you the ball, like Mettenberger can get you the ball, then you will excel. As long as you don't drop the ball, Troy Williamson, 50 yards down the field, you'll do just fine. Mettenberger can put the ball on the spot, 60 yards down the field, and still let you keep running with it.
Yeah.
Even though we like Jarius Wright because he can fall over and catch it backwards. But we don't need that, you know? And sure, yes, those 5-yard dump down passes are beautiful to watch. Thank you, Percy Harvin, for showing that to the Minnesota Vikings. But we've got, you know, guys like Cordero Patterson who can catch those and go long, and we've got guys like Jennings and Wright. And personally, I'm not going to spill my beans, but I kind of do hope we go for a wide receiver in the 3rd or 4th round because, honestly, personally, I think the draft has such a depth at wide receiver this year. That's just me.
And that's definitely something we can look into shortly here. But yeah, Zach Mettenberger, it's all about, see, like I was saying earlier, horrible defensive breakdowns are taking place. Quarterbacks took advantage of it. Good on them. But when you're able to beat the defense regardless if there's a breakdown or if there were 3 defenders on the guy. The wide receiver, I don't know the name. It doesn't matter right now because it's the quarterback we're talking about. 3 defensive backs behind the guy. Zach Mettenberger puts it on the numbers down below where regardless if the player drops the ball, it's on the ground, not in the defender's hands. The ball was put exactly where it needed to be, and it was a touchdown pass. I mean, there's several plays like this along the way. And as you said, obviously, you have the arm strength as well. Where he could, you could still catch it and keep going in stride after it was a 6D yard completion. Obviously, we know about the ACL, and it took place at the end of November, early December. He didn't have surgery until early January, I believe the 6th, because he wanted to let the MCL heal, which is kind of an interesting way to approach things. Didn't have surgery for over a month. Believes that he was told that the MCL would heal or would be stronger if it was allowed to heal naturally without surgery. So that's basically what took place there. Let the MCL heal. Now the ACL is, was surgically repaired. It is on the mend as we speak. And that's why Zach Mettenberger is not a potential top 10 pick. I think he could be. And if he never got hurt, I would pretty much... I can hear some people laughing out there. I would hope you're not. But if Zach Mettenberger never had an ACL injury, picking him number 8 overall to me would be a no-brainer. To be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I watched an interview with him on, I believe it was either ESPN or NFL Network, and he was talking about he's not RG3. That's why he says he's 100% because all he's got to do is stand there.
Yeah, he's not mobile.
Yeah, okay, you're going to take a couple hits to the legs, but he's not going to run a 440, 85 yards down the field. That's just not him. And yes, that is where I see one of his weaknesses, is he does not avoid the pressure, and we need to get Norv Turner with him so he learns how to step up in the pocket, avoid the pass rush. He does struggle with that. I watched a little bit of game film to where he was having trouble. But at that same point, it's Norv freaking Turner as an offensive coordinator, not the head coach. We got this. Just get a decent quarterback like Mettenberger or Murray, and we should be fine.
And Aaron Murray is another one indeed that I think he is... he's probably I'll call him my 3rd choice behind Johnny Manziel, I guess, at this point. Mettenberger 1, Manziel 2, Murray a strong 3, though, like right there. Very good player, very good. A lot of the it factor as well. I did see more defensive breakdowns on his big plays than Mettenberger, but still a guy that if somebody jumps up and takes Mettenberger and we're screwed, we can't get him, and Murray's still there, I mean, hey, early 2nd round pick I would be like, okay, sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the great things too is Murray has that it factor along with him. Just he's more of a mobile quarterback and is a little bit more of a risk at that same point because
Yeah.
He does run a big speedy time down the field, and he got injured while running, so that's something that you want to make sure he's okay with, and he was going to take a little bit longer of a process to fully recover, which is okay with me. I'm like, you want to sit out, some of the camp and not play in the preseason. Okay, I'll give you a season. I'll let you sit. That's no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But you better come back next year.
Yeah, we would hope so.
Greg Childs.
Greg Childs. Yes, poor Greg Childs. That guy. That really was a shame. And yes, Murray, obviously another ACL quarterback. So there are two. It's Menberger and Murray. So unfortunately, both of them had ACLs, and that's obviously hurt their draft position quite a bit. It would. I would think that these guys would be in the top 3 instead of like the Bridgewaters of the world right now. Wouldn't be surprised. Crazy as this may sound, the way Bridgewater's stock is dropping, and well, I mean, what the video? I mean, from what the film I've watched in Bridgewater, I just don't see enough for me to really be too excited about him. And obviously, all the other stuff like I mentioned, small hands, fumble, all that crap. And another guy that likes to fumble the ball is Jimmy Garoppolo as well. He has a nice fade pass, but that's about it. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not a big Garoppolo fan, and I expressed that very clearly on the Facebook page. And I know we're not very huge on swearing on the show.
Yeah, look at
except for if you wanted to go back and listen to some of Joey's old shows, which I do recommend. Those were the ones I fell in love with. He did get a little bit more explicit than say sorry about it a little bit later. But little side note there.
Yeah.
But no, I love those shows, but no, I dropped the F-bomb in that comment, and I'm sorry for people who might have got offended, but I feel very expressively against Garoppolo. I see all these things, and they're saying he should be within Manziel and whatchamacallit Bridgewater, and I'm just like, well, okay. You want to be within that elite, quote-unquote elite 3, what do you bring to the table? And they're like, well, he's got this, this, and this. I'm like, that's great. Yeah, does he have the it factor? And they're like,
no.
Well, I'm like, no, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not much going on in the special skills department in my mind. And yeah, he's coming from a small school, a lot like Derek Carr. Just not much to him that I really like. I mean, he's another small hands fumbler type of guy too, which it's like you don't want to get mad at a guy for having small hands, but at the same time, a lot of the best quarterbacks did not have small hands. Brett Favre has hands the size of, catcher's mitts. I mean, for crying out loud, so it helps to have big hands. It really does.
Oh, definitely too. And I know I watched a special on Brett Favre's hands at one point, and they're saying of how he grips the football, and actually started to mirror how he grips the football. And I got average-sized hands for a 6-foot person.
Mm-hmm.
The way he grips the ball and the velocity he gets on it, it makes a difference. And they talk about, well, if you look at Wilson, his hands aren't exceptionally big, and he's got decent zip to the ball. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's got decent zip to the ball. And believe you and me, Wilson's run into his problems in the couple seasons he's been in the league. And yes, he just brought his team to the Super Bowl, but a quarterback can't stay elite like that forever. His problems are going to show through. And people are going to see, if you remember right, in the NFC Championship game, he was barely holding on to the ball while running backwards in the pocket.
Yeah.
Backwards. And I'm sitting there laughing. But if you want to look at a quarterback with big hands, yeah, you got Brett Favre. But let's use his arch rival, Colin Kaepernick. Huge walrus hands. Throws a 95-mile-per-hour football. Ow. And they compare that to Brett Favre, and I think that's a dang fair comparison, because whenever they said Brett Favre threw it at Lambeau Field in the middle of winter, he had the same exact grip on the ball because he had big hands.
Yeah, it didn't hurt him at all. I mean, he's good in weather. At least Favre used to be good in weather. Pardon me.
Well, I think good in weather. It was just the playing it, and then when he did, To be fair, he played in a stadium that did not have insulated turf under it, and yes, and he took a vicious hit by a bear, which, may I say, we did sign.
Yeah, that's the funny part. We did. It never ends, does it? Just all these weird connections. We signed the guy that was on the high-low from the Saints, too. Obviously, he's gone now because he did nothing here. He was terrible, but yeah.
He did less than nothing. He did, diddly squat, and I can't even put in the diddly.
Yeah, he did so little that I don't even remember his name right now, and obviously it's like Remy such a non-factor. Huh?
It's Remy Adel.
Oh, okay, yep. Remy Adel. Oh, yeah, Mr. High-Low himself. But yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, he's better than some of the quarterbacks in this draft, sure. Obviously, somebody's going to look at him, and they're going to give him a chance and all that good stuff, but I personally think he's a backup quarterback in this league. Another guy that I think he's not a starter. He's just not a starter at all. And some of these draft magazines and websites and all that good stuff, they have A.J. McCarron ranked ahead of Zach Mettenberger. That's crazy, isn't it?
That's because he went to a school where they won championships, though. That's the difference. But even then, they're saying he's not a winning quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Well, and for me, I saw nothing. No special skills at all. I mean, just nothing. Just kind of like a ponder. Not really any type of arm. Not much gamesmanship. Just nothing really. No wow factor whatsoever out of A.J. McCarron. At least from my point of view.
Yeah, I've known about A.J. McCarron for a little while, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I never really followed college sports, and I'm not quite sure why I'm so big into the NFL draft this year, but I am, probably because we do have the number 8 spot, and
yeah,
I don't know, I'm just a huge Vikings fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly think that, I don't know. A.J. McCarron's just not that good of a player, and I've watched the film, and I've done, I've seen people put the videos together of McCarron and Mettenberger because they're good quarterbacks for good schools.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I was doing the little finger quote-unquote thing there. Mettenberger blows him out of the water.
Yeah.
I just don't see why they're saying he's better. I don't.
It's weird, yeah.
It floors me.
Yeah, I think Mettenberger is light years ahead of Jimmy Garoppolo, A.J. McCarron, even Derek Carr, who's got a better arm than Garoppolo and McCarron, at least from what I personally know. I'm not the college expert of the world, but I do my homework when it's time to do the draft show. I would like to be ready for it and do the best I can. Obviously, because I'm here to be obviously this is a Vikings show. We're looking to see which player helps the team best. And yes, we talked a lot about quarterbacks on this show because we need a quarterback of the future. And should the Vikings take a quarterback in this draft, we hope that it's the right one. And it looks like both of us have come to a very strong conclusion that it is Mr. Zach Mettenberger. It sure appears that way. That's the thing. Now the question becomes, who do the Vikings actually take at 8? Because it probably won't be Mettenberger at that spot. Yeah, I think it's 100% chances it's a defensive player. Will it be the corner? Will it be a cornerback? Will it be a safety? Will it be a linebacker? Who knows? Who's going to slip? Who's going to be there? Who truly is the best available? And who will be the right guy? We indeed shall see. Will it be Clinton Dix? I know he's a guy that you like.
Oh, Clinton Dix is a solid player, and I'll say more about him in just a second once we get into my little mock draft segment.
Yeah.
I think he's a player that I could honestly see impacting for everlasting time. And I think we could, anybody really, not just we, but anybody who gets him could put him into a starting role immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's got the football knowledge. He's got the awareness, and he's got the, I shouldn't say he's got the speed, but because you really don't need it at safety, but you need it at safety. And like, if you can play the position and know where to be, kind of like Harrison Smith. You don't need the speed because he can hit the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I have to redact that statement because it's like an oxymoron. Because Jamarcus Sanford can really hit the guy, but he's horrible. Absolutely horrible at covering the pass.
Yeah, he's just good at hitting a guy, maybe knocking the ball loose, but overall coverage, yeah, it's just not there. I hear you.
Put him at linebacker. Don't got anything else.
Yeah, that's about it, isn't it? Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see who they take. Anthony Barr could be an option. Who knows? He's kind of like a 3-4 type of guy. He could be linebacker or defensive end. It gets real interesting in that situation. Almost no chance Khalil Mack will be there. 0 chance Clowney will be there. I mean, there's just no way. Because
you would actually be surprised of some of the mock drafts I've seen.
That would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, I suppose you never do know. Somebody might get infatuated with Johnny Manziel. You never know. He might go first. Who knows? I mean, anything could happen.
Well, I think one of the things you have to look at is, okay, Texans take number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
And the big question is QB Clowney.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, okay, Clowney is scary as hell. I would literally piss myself before I step in under the center if I see J.J. Watt to my right and Clowney to my left.
Mm-hmm.
I would fecal matter my own pants as a quarterback. But that's just me.
Yeah,
I honestly think any quarterback would really be scared. That's one thing you have to think about. But you have to look at, okay, we pass up on Clowney. Let's say you were the GM of the Houston Texans and you went for a quarterback because you need a quarterback. No doubt, you just got rid of Schaub. T.J. Yates might be the guy, might not be the guy, kind of like a Matt Flynn situation a couple years ago. All right, so let's say you took the quarterback. It comes to the Rams. Rams really don't need that right now. They don't need the distraction off the field. They don't need that's essentially not where their need is. They're going to probably go offensive tackle. That's pretty unanimous. That's where they've gone in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they really could use the help is on the line because they have Bradford on one of those big rookie contracts which they used to give out. Thank God they don't anymore.
Yep.
And they can't get rid of him or else it costs ample amount of money. So, that's one of the things too. And then we go down to Jacksonville. They don't have a need for him. We go down to Cleveland. They do, but they don't. And I honestly think he really wouldn't want to go there. And
Cleveland, yeah.
I honestly think Cleveland has they just got rid of Whedon. So, they kind of got a QB issue over there too.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Oakland, they got a QB wide receiver issue, and they really just revamped their defense. They don't need them. Mm-hmm. Atlanta, he would love to go to Atlanta. That's dropping all the way down to the 7th pick already. He goes from 1 to 7 just like that, just because of team need.
Mm.
It's possible, but it's a very realistic thing. And once we look at that, it's a team need type of thing. That's why QBs are so high right now, is because it's such a team need thing.
Mm-hmm. It is. I mean, throughout the league, you got Cleveland, Jacksonville, all these teams that need a quarterback. Obviously, Atlanta does not. So really, you mentioned a mock draft. Might as well jump into it now.
Did you want me to go into my mock draft special there?
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, this would be the time to do it. Yep. Go for it.
All right, so for my mock draft, this will probably be my last one before everything. I've done every piece of analysis I can. I've watched every video, and this is about 10, 11 picks. And I know we've got a couple other NFC North team listeners, like the creator of the show. All right, so we got the Texans going with Jadeveon Clowney, left end, outside linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, St. Louis Rams, Jake Matthews, tackle. Jacksonville Jaguars, Johnny Manziel, quarterback. He has spent ample amount of time yes, I said that twice, with the Cleveland organization. I can say it again, spent ample amount of time. He is going there. Trust me. I promise you, he ain't slipping to 8. Cleveland Browns take a quarterback that seems to be pretty reliable, and it is the graveyard for quarterbacks, so you might as well put him there because I can't stand his school. Quarterback, Bortles.
Mm-hmm.
Oakland Raiders, I have said this since the last show. Take wide receiver, Watkins.
Yep. Yep.
The Atlanta Falcons, take outside linebacker, Khalil Mack. May I remind you, we have not seen Anthony Barr come off the board. Why? Because he doesn't show the ability to cut the edge, turn the corner, and come off the QB. If he doesn't break inside and get to the quarterback or have an outside release, he gives up. Mind you, he will slip and fall, and I don't even have him on my board because that is one of his biggest issues. And remind you, we are at the number 8 Minnesota Vikings pick. They trade down to the New York Jets, who takes Mike Evans. They just got a new quarterback in Michael Vick. Running back is in CJ2K. If you add on Evans along with Eric Decker, you will have a playoff roster at the offensive side of the ball. If you take Mike Evans there, you also add on depth and room to grow, as in they absolutely had no quarterbacks last year. Sorry, Geno Smith. It's not your fault. Buffalo Bills take middle linebacker C.J. Mosley, and I know a lot of mock drafts are going all the way down to Green Bay. I'm sorry. He's got too much potential. You don't let that go. And yes, Donald Trump will buy the Bills and keep them in New York. Sad face. Sorry, L.A. Detroit Lions will stay at home and take Jarquise Dennard, cornerback. You're thinking, okay, Vikings traded down. They're going to get the first overall pick from the New York Jets. I say we take Clinton Dix to replace Jamarcus Sanford. We get a second-round pick out of that, a late second round. We take quarterback LSU Mettenberger. Third-round pick, we take up Van Noy. Because I know we've got 2 third-round picks. Just wanted to get that out of the way there. And then I think we add on either another corner or safety or somewhere around there, just so we can add in more depth. I honestly think we should draft 2 quarterbacks, one, kind of early, like second, third round, as in Mettenberger. I think we have to reach on him. I really do. I think we absolutely need to reach on him, not in the first round.
Yeah, not in the first. Yeah, like unless it's like the last pick in the first round. But then again, that's kind of obviously another risk you take trading up into the first round. That would be kind of silly to take the last pick. But possibly trading up earlier in the second round could be where you may have to reach. Yeah, some people had Mettenberger going all the way down to the 4th round. I'm not taking the chance there. I think Mettenberger does not get past the second round, and I think the Vikings have to take him if they want him, and I would hope to God they do. I really hope to God they do. I am not interested in taking a wide receiver in the first round. A lot of people would like the Vikings to take Watkins or Evans. No, wide receiver, I mean, it's just not the time to take a wide receiver. There's a billion needs on defense, and obviously, there is a need at quarterback, and it doesn't mean we have to take him with the 8th pick, but just saying there is a need at quarterback, so I'm not really looking at wide receiver right now. That's for sure.
I think one of the things, too, we have to look at is player happiness. Yeah. And trust me, that goes a long way. I'm sorry, this is not Madden.
Yeah, where you can just take whoever, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Player happiness is a huge key. We have a veteran like Greg Jennings. He came in, yes, to be a mentor. We do have young wide receivers. Trust me, he's taking Cordero Patterson under his wing. And if you say otherwise, then I'm going to kick you to the curb, bash your head in, and then laugh. But, no, we've got Jarius Wright. We've got Cordero Patterson. We've got other wide receivers to fulfill that. And, yes, we can draft a 4th round, 5th round wide receiver. That is no problem. That is absolute depth only.
Yeah. You take a guy for depth, maybe special teams, all that good stuff. Nothing wrong with having a number 4 receiver per se. I'm definitely not. I'm not a big Jerome Simpson fan, even though he's had his moments. He's got Kadri Ishmael syndrome to me, but that's obviously another story for another day because it's not the time to talk about Jerome too much.
He did step up though.
Yeah, he had his good. He did have his good moments, so I can't bash on him too much. Just as long as he doesn't take playing time away from Cordell Patterson anymore, I suppose. That might be one of my bitternesses that I can't let go of. Coach Childress, not Childress, Coach, it might as well be. That would be the offensive coordinator, Bill Musgrave. But, enough of the gravedigger. Boy, I mean, it's like with a draft like this, you can kind of rehash, go over this, go over that, go over this, go over that. Bottom line, I want the Vikings to take Mettenberger, and another bottom line, it's pretty much 100% chance the Vikings would take a defensive player at 8 or maybe a slight trade down to 10, 15, 20, whatever it is. It'll be a defensive player, and then Mr. Zach Mettenberger, second bleeping round. Pray to God we don't lose him. Pray to God. Or Aaron Murray, we'll see.
Yeah, I'll settle for either one. And I think it's fair to say I did say I was going to talk a tiny bit Patriots on here, and I know you said that you're a big Boston fan. I actually do have the Patriots taking Ebron, tight end, just because of their insufficiency at that position, and they have become quite a tight end-based team. And I think Tom Brady needs the wide receiver support around him at that such a thing to where they can also run with a tight end, or not with a tight end, but help block with a tight end. Yeah, you're going to throw a tight end around totally.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to kind of see one of those. That'd be kind of interesting. Let's get Kyle Rudolph out there.
No,
I actually came up with a little QB where they're going to land type of situation. Do you want to hear that?
Sure.
I had, obviously, Manziel at Jacksonville, Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
I had taking Bortles.
Mm-hmm.
Guess where I have Bridgewater landing?
Where's that?
Denver.
Denver.
Because, it seems perfect to me. Manning's got 1, maybe 2 years left.
Yeah.
Bridgewater needs that time to sit under a good quarterback now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, NFL already totaled my ass. Sorry.
No, he's not. Even though he played in a pro-style offense in Louisville, still.
Yeah. I think it shows, look at Aaron Rodgers. He sat under Brett Favre for 4 years and learned. How good is he now? He's great. When he's not there, the Packers sucked anal bloppity bloopity blop.
Mm-hmm.
But it just shows. I think Bridgewater lands there. He runs a similar style of offense, or he can, to Peyton Manning. He can definitely learn from Peyton Manning, if at anything. I had A.J. McCarron going to Houston in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
I had Garoppolo, as you know. Yes, I know I said McCarron was going to go to Dallas, but did see the gaping hole in Houston, and I had to think about it for a little bit longer. And I know Dallas just got Whedon, so it kind of would be like an oxymoron to grab him now.
Mm-hmm.
That's if you want to do a training camp battle. But I had Garoppolo going to San Diego because Garoppolo and San Diego, for some reason, just go together for me. I had Mettenberger coming here. Guess where I had Aaron Murray landing?
Where's that?
I had him going to New England.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good place for him. Oh, yeah. That is a very good place for him.
I think that's one of the biggest things, too, is,
you don't need Ryan Mallett, no?
Yeah,
you really don't.
The veteran experience type of thing. I think he sat under Mama's wing for a little bit too long. Now it's time to get out and fly, little birdie.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be good in the NFL.
Ryan Mallett?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, and maybe he'll get traded or something if they bring in Murray. So we'll see. It's all a matter of time where things go here. We are running a little bit long on this, but it's okay. We'll try to keep things sane here. So really nothing more to summarize on the on what the Vikings are going to do. I think you guys get the point, and you also get the point of what we would like to see when it comes to the quarterback position with the Minnesota Vikings. We made that very, 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 very clear. So with that, we should take a break if there's nothing else you want to add.
No.
Okay, so it is time to take the break. We are going to start the next segment, which obviously is the fan interaction. We will start it off with a call from longtime listener, first-time caller, very loyal listener from Iowa. No, it's not Mark Carlson, but it is Dave Hickey. There are obviously two very long-time loyal guys from Iowa, Mark Carlson and Dave Hickey. And Dave Hickey, welcome to Purple Mafia. The floor is yours right after this.
Do you shop on Amazon? Did you know that you can support this podcast just by doing your normal shopping on Amazon? It's really easy to do. Just go to thesportstuff.com and click on one of the many Amazon pictures. Do your normal shopping, and Amazon sees that we referred you, and they give us a percentage. We'd like to thank you in advance for supporting thesportstuff.com, and please use our Amazon link. Now enjoy the rest of the show.
We are going round like Saturn's ring.
Too busy to sit in front of a computer? Simply download Purple Mafia on iTunes for Apple devices. For Android, download the Double Twist app, and for Windows and BlackBerry phones, simply find us in the store. And now, back to Paladino Joey. Contact us and support Purple Mafia by liking us on Facebook and following us on Twitter. Don't forget to call into our phone lines at 209-736-7877. That's 209-736-7877.
This message goes out to Joey Awajan and his faithful followers of the Purple Mafia show. I'm Dave Hickey, a first-time caller. A special shout-out to Sebastian, who talked me into calling in, and Mark Carlson, whom I've had lots of Viking discussions on Facebook. I've wrote into Vikings.com, NFL.com, and the NFL Network, and never had any of my posts read. Well, you, Joey, read my first one and ever since. So I want to thank you for having the decency to respond to my posts. That's so cool. About the Vikings, I'm super excited about this coaching staff. The head coach, Mike Zimmer, and Norv Turner. I don't know a lot about the defensive coordinator, but I'm sure a smart defensive mind like Zimmer isn't going to hire no bum like our old coach did. I like Leslie Frazier, but I think he was too soft-spoken and a yes-sir man. But he hired some idiots to run the offense and defense. Mike Zimmer is no yes-sir man. And from what experts say, that's why he was passed over on so many NFL coaching jobs. Well, I like that in a coach and a person because that's the way I am. I tell it like it is, and screw you if you don't like it. It seems as though most of, if not all, of his former players love him and respect him, even though he was a hard-nosed coach. He will get us a Super Bowl ring, hopefully in Adrian Peterson's era. About the draft, I think we need to go defense first. Even though we have done it a lot in free agency, we still need a stud linebacker. If Khalil Mack or Barr is not there, then drop back and get more picks and get the best linebacker, defensive back, or defensive lineman we can. Don't reach for a quarterback like we did with Ponder. And look how that turned out. He was supposed to be so smart. Then he would stare down receivers and throw interceptions. I like Johnny Football. He is a winner, in college anyway, but so wasn't for any other quarterback we draft is going to have to sit behind Castle learn the offense and the NFL for a while. And I don't think Johnny Football is going to sit behind anybody. He's going to be a huge distraction and cause a lot of trouble from media. And just wanted to finish my thought. Johnny Football is going to be a huge distraction and cause a lot of trouble from media attention and his party life. We don't need or want that distraction. I like Carr the best, but we surely don't want to pick him up or any other quarterback at number 8. If we don't go linebacker early in the draft and we look at it in round 3 or later, then there are 3 very good linebackers coming out of Iowa in this year's draft. Well, that's all I have to say. Thanks a lot, Joey and Sebastian. Keep up the good work, because I'll keep listening. Thanks again.
And I thank you very, very much for that call, Dave. Really, really appreciate you. Really, really nice things to say.
Oh, yeah. It was a great call-in, and I think people should take from that a little bit more. And, you know, that was his first time calling in, like he said, and I talked to him into it a little bit. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't take a lot, and, you know, just spilling your opinions, and it doesn't even have to be over the Facebook page. Shout out, 503 likes, finally got over that hump. Thank you very much.
Yep.
But, no, it's not hard, and I've been a call-in now for a good 3 years.
Yeah.
It's not hard, and it's actually quite enjoyable because you kind of feel like you're on the show at the same time. Yeah, you're not having that voice-to-voice interaction, but you're going to hear yourself, and you're going to play it back. And I remember going back to my high school the next day, and I was telling my friends, "Oh my God, I'm on the podcast," and they're like, "Oh, that's really cool."
Yeah.
And I like, granted, Joey butchered my name the first time, but that was all good. It was perfectly cool.
Joe, you butchered it.
No, it was fun, and it's a fun experience to have, and I think everybody should get at least one call-in down, and thank you very much, Dave Hickey, for that, and Mark Carlson you mentioned in there. He's had 1 or 2 by now.
Yeah, yep. Obviously, a bajillion posts on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, really good thoughts there. What were you saying about Khalil Mack? We were thinking about it off air here. Yep.
Yeah, Khalil Mack is definitely a great linebacker, and I would take him any day of the week. I honestly think he will be gone within the top 7 because the Falcons need defensive help. Look at them last year. They've got the offense. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, they lost a wide receiver, but they got the offense. They got the quarterback. They need running back help, but you'd be a death sentence if you got a first-round running back, let's be quite honest. Mm-hmm. This ain't 2007 when you're drafting Adrian Peterson anymore. This is 2014, and oh my God, AP's already been in the league that long. Let's get a Super Bowl, guys. But still, to get off my little tangent there, he's going to be gone. Anthony Barr, I've said it, is a complete bust. He lacks effort. You want to talk about lacking effort from Clowney. He lacks effort. He lacks trying. He lacks caring. He lacks heart. He lacks football knowledge. And I'll tell you that any day of the week until I meet that guy face to face because he'd probably tower over me. But if I may say so, yes, Iowa's got a couple good guys coming out, but I think that's a little bit biased of an opinion. That's me saying every guy from Minnesota is going to be great. Yeah, Marquise Gray, remember him? Yes, quarterback. Do you know where he plays right now? Yes, he's in the NFL. Do you know where he plays?
Where's that?
Cleveland, as a tight end.
As a tight end, yep, that's true. Oh, so, Cleveland.
That's like me saying, Marquise Gray, first-round pick, Adam Weber, too. Oh, yeah.
Adam Weber.
Both of them undrafted.
Oh, Adam Weber. My goodness. Yeah, it's like...
How long did he play for us? Like 8 years? Holy crap.
Yeah, and it's nothing personal. We're just having fun here. So,
gotta love the show.
Huh?
So you gotta love the show that way.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. We're just having fun here. We're not making fun of anybody.
Adam Weber's not that good.
No, I mean, like obviously to Dave Hickey about the Iowa linebackers, and I'm sure they're decent. I mean,
they're good linebackers, and I've seen game film. It's just their third round picks, and I'd take them. I'm just
third round. That's a good place probably to take a linebacker, if not much earlier. But I don't know if the right one's going to be there. Unfortunately, I'm looking. It's probably going to be a defensive back in the 8th there, or with the 8th pick. I mean, or obviously a trade down. It's all a we shall see. That's the toughest part about doing a draft show, because stuff changes. It just does, you know.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's very fluid, as they like to say in the media over and over and over again. And I know that's boring and broad stroke approach that I'm taking there, but it's just true. So
I think one of the things too you have to look at is, if you've never heard of Kyle Van Noy, which I know many of us have and have not, I recommend you go online and look up a game film. I know, Joey, you're not a big fan of Greenway.
Not too much.
I'm going to make this comparison, and you can even admit Greenway comes through when a tackle needs to be made. He's not huge. He's not amazing. And if we've got any baseball fans that are kind of new to football, he's like a Michael Kadire. Yes. He's good, not great, solid, not perfect. They say he lacks speed. And I'm sorry, but I watched his game film, and this guy flies around the field like he's Johnny Manziel speed or RG3 speed out there on certain plays. Like, he's lightning, he's flash. I don't get it. I don't see where the experts are saying he's slow. I'm like, am I not looking at the right film as you guys, or are you watching some practice squad stuff, or because I swear,
I'm seeing slow too in some of these. Yeah, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Have you seen his game film yet?
I have not. No.
Oh my goodness, this guy.
And I should have. Sorry.
I know you can have it going right now off your YouTube thing. Well, the volume's off, but oh my God, the guy is everywhere. His football knowledge is just beyond of what I would normally call a third round pick. And they're saying he's a second, third round pick, and I'm just like, well, what is it then? It's the size, too. Size, slow, and whatever. This is a steal. A steal. Vikings get Kyle Van Noy, please. Linebacker, perfect choice.
Yeah, and if he's available, that's the other thing. I mean, he may go a bit higher too. That's the other sad part. It's just, you know, that's the other part. I mean, from what I'm seeing, some have him going in the first or second round. Again, anything can happen there. But really, though, I mean, I totally agree with what Dave Hickey had to say about Mike Zimmer as well, where he's not afraid to stand his ground, have an opinion, rather than just always be the nice guy all the time, like Frazier was, and then bring in, as he said, a bunch of idiots. I love that. Yeah, and you could tell Dave Hickey's not afraid to say what's on his mind either, and that's good. I'm quite the same way, actually, to be honest. Most of the time. Sometimes I'm a little bit diplomatic, but very rarely. Only like in a situation where I absolutely need to be. It is kind of weird, yeah. As Van Noy is an awfully fast player. They call him slow. It is kind of funny though, where you'd compare a fast player to Chad Greenway, who I don't know. I don't see Chad Greenway as a fast linebacker. Do you?
No, but I see the positioning in it. I see the football IQ. I see
he does have high IQ. Yeah, sorry.
I just see the complete package, and you got to remember how far Greenway is into his career. Kyle Van Noy is not going to be fast forever.
No.
RG3 is not even going to be fast forever.
And Greenway did have an ACL before he played a single game in the NFL. He had an ACL and was at the mini camp, I believe, back in 2006 of his, that was going to be his rookie year, and it wasn't, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Doggone it. So,
hey.
Yeah.
It gave him time to recover, and no, I agree with what Dave Hickey was saying too, and I honestly believe Mike Zimmer is the guy, and
yeah,
I love a guy who can come out and say, all right, he's the guy. I'm sorry, you've been here for 6 years, but you've not proven to me you can do diddly shit.
Yeah. Certain guys, yeah.
I think that's perfect, too, and I mean, like, I honestly don't think Castle has this job locked up. And I honestly think Ponder's going to be put in his place.
I would hope so. Watch him like blow up and be really good now with Zimmer.
And more power to him. More power
to him. Yeah, if he blows up and shocks people, okay, yeah, more power to him. I mean, that's just a bonus.
That means Vikings are winning.
Totally unexpected bonus. Yeah, shoot, why not? I mean, Drew Brees wasn't doing good in San Diego, and then all of a sudden he did a hell of a lot better when Phillip Rivers came in because there was a fire under his ass. Did I say that?
Hey, I honestly, one thing to it too is, oh yeah, you pretty much said it. The fire under his ass too. Is he's going to be told the complete honest truth, and he was babied his whole damn time here.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He's got 1 year left on his contract. What's it for him to lose? He's got a smoking hot wife, which he married like 2 weeks into dating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, freaking A, it's like, this guy, you might as well play good now. You've not before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had 4 good games at the end of 2012, and I honestly starting to lean towards your bandwagon, and I supported you when Joe Webb played horrible in the playoffs. Yes, I posted a picture of you on Purple Mafia. I actually went back into the Purple Mafia archives and found it so I could use it on this reference. It said, this, ladies and gentlemen, is a quarterback. And I showed a picture of you, Christian Ponder, and I hope to God you're listening. Please get your head out of your ass and prove me right. I know it's a few years down the line or 2, but it would be very, very nice to know you're a quarterback in this league. And if you're not, please leave. And just play your way out of a spot in training camp, because I honestly would hate to see you around another year.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't miss him all too much either. I think it's time to move on from Christian Ponder. I hope now is the time that it happens. Yes. Well, obviously you take the right quarterback and we won't even have to think about Christian Ponder ever again. That would be the great part indeed. So, are we ready to go on to the Facebook page?
Yeah, definitely.
For the sake of time and all that good stuff. I did post about the Jared Allen has agreed to a 4-year deal with the Bears. Felix Depel from Germany. Great guys. Come on board not too long ago, saying for him it's business. He does this for a living. Players don't care about rivalries as much as we fans. We shouldn't blame him that much. Hope he does well in Chicago, but sucks against us. Yeah, that's very true. Matthew Kyle saying just glad it's not the Packers. Your buddy Raymond Harris, welcome aboard the page, by the way, saying agree with Felix. I know Matt Khalil can take him. Brent Jacobson saying I thought it was a done deal with the Seahags. And yeah, I did too. I was a bit surprised how things just kind of slowly fell through there. But again, it's just that's the NFL for you. Ray saying he would have preferred that, and the conversation kind of jumping back and forth a bit here. Malcolm saying it's going to be weird playing against him twice a year. Brett McCarthy was saying now AP will run him into the ground. He's never been good at stopping the run. Mark Carlson was saying he got a text message at the time from his wife. She gave it to him straight, and I almost got sick. It's now late the next day, and now I am feeling sick, not happy. You, Mr. Sebastian Balls, was saying, who cares if he's in the NFC North as long as he's not in Green Bay or Seattle? I don't give a bleep. Yeah. He's saying he could bring the heat, so what would you do? Run up the middle. Every team did it to us. Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Too true.
They did. They did.
That
they did.
Throw the screen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Dave Vicky saying, I feel sorry for Castle because unless the O-line improves from last year's piss-poor performance, he's going to be on his back a lot. Allen is awesome, not to mention Peppers in Green Bay with Matthews, and then Sue in Detroit. Ouch. But with Norv Turner's system, a quick screen pass to AP, Jarius Wright, and Jarius Wright, and they are off and running for a touchdown. Skol Vikings. I definitely hope so. And you, Mr. Sebastian, believe that the O-line will get better. So I do hope so. And they should. I think Matt Khalil had a sophomore slump. Hopefully he'll have a junior jump.
Well, I think
it rhymed.
Too. Yeah, it did. That was very good.
Sorry.
I think one of the things, too, about it is we all complained about this past year's O-line. Like, oh, well, we need to draft a tackle. Well, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or guard. Fair enough. Okay, Fusco, not great. What's his other name? I could give a crap.
I mean, I wouldn't mind taking a, yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
Somewhere in there.
Yes. This is the exact same. You okay?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, this is the exact same offensive line that not only led AP to 2,000 plus yards, but led us to a playoff loss. Yes, sorry, playoff loss. Had to put that in there, but we at least got to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Same offensive line. It had to have been something along the sophomore slump lines. That or they just wanted to get Ponder and Leslie Frazier out the door, and if that's the case, congratulations, you won the lottery.
Pretty much, man. Pretty much. Oh, my. So as we keep jumping back and forth, I was talking about how the Vikings were conducting a private workout with, your favorite guy, Jimmy Garoppolo. Brent saying he intrigues you, and you were saying he is basically the image of Ponder. Open your eyes, people.
Yeah.
To catch all this hate. No, I don't blame you here.
Realism.
Huh?
Realism.
Yeah, it is. Continue to bounce here. Yeah, there isn't as much as last time around, and that's okay. It's obviously the off season, and it's just trying to get things going here. It's obviously there's more to talk about per se than just fan interaction at this point in time. It's kind of just a lot of draft. Wow, there's a lot of posts in here. I probably won't get to everything because there's a lot in here. Huh? Yeah, I'm not going to get to all of it just because it's so much. Because, you're already here right now. So is that okay?
Oh, yeah. I'm all down for that. I was just trying to get some fan interaction going.
No, and that's good. Really, really do appreciate that indeed. Yeah, you posted a picture of Jared Allen with a bunch of bears. That's kind of funny. I don't even know where to go from this. Brent Jacobson was saying, as most of you know, I have no life. So I did another 7-round mock. That was pretty funny. He had us taking... Was that us? Yeah, he had us taking Mike Evans number 1. So, yeah, he's big on Mike Evans. But he had Kyle Van Noy in round 2, though. Very interesting there. Very interesting. Yes, that's a guy, obviously, you like a lot. And we do need help at the linebacker position.
You'll like his number 3.
Huh?
I said, you'll like his number 3.
Does he have a number 3? No, I'm just kidding. Cornerback Stanley Jean Bibsit. Yes. Oh, yep, and yes, that's the other one, Zach Mettenberger. Yes. Do you think? I'm not sure he'd slip that far, but if he does,
we have 2 third-rounders.
Yeah, yep, we do. But I'm thinking, if he, do you think he'd slip that far? I don't even. I don't know at this point. Maybe.
I honestly do.
Huh?
I honestly do. I think the teams that need quarterbacks are going to take their needs, and Well, look at this. Look at it this way. The depth to every other position is immaculate. It's large. It's huge. Wide receivers, so many. Corners, so many. Safeties, so many. Quarterbacks will be slim pickings for teams after the first round, and they're not going to touch them for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Mark my words.
Well, we'll see what happens, and I guess it all depends on if it's just one of them, at least just one of them gets as infatuated as I did. But if we can get him in the 3rd round, that'd be a hell of a value. Moving along, he has a 4th round cornerback Keith McGill, safety C.J. Barnett in the 5th, inside linebacker Dede Latimore, and in the 7th round, a defensive end Cassius Marsh. So waiting on defensive end all the way to the 7th round. we'll see. I think we're okay at defensive end. A lot of people didn't at the time, but again, all in the eyes of the beholder at this point. And obviously, that all depends on a guy by the name of Everson Griffin. Because, I mean, Brian Robinson can play in this league. Believe it or not, he's already 30. I can't even fathom that he's already 30, but he is. Everson Griffin, he better play better than he did his second year. So the pressure's on, buddy. You're starting. Get going, definitely. Just a bit of fan interaction bouncing around with Sebastian there, and there he is, Mr. Sebastian. Yes, who did you start a campaign for?
I think that might be Brett Favre. No, I'm just kidding. Zach Mettenberger.
Yeah, I'm in all the way in. Brent was saying that he would look sweet in purple. Mark saying, okay, I'm trusting you on this one. John Wilkins, oh boy. Well, I better read it though, huh?
That's my friend too.
Okay, yeah, I better read it because it's a differing opinion.
Oh yeah.
He says he'd be a bust. We need someone with swagger and confidence like Manziel. I don't want to waste another 3 years of Peterson's career on a guy who's going to be a game manager, not a playmaker. I don't know. From what I saw, I don't know. I don't know about the game manager part. It looked like he's a pretty hell of a manager if he was basically literally dictating the pace of the game. Dictating plays down the field. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't look like a game manager to me. I would say that's A.J. McCarron. I would say that's Jimmy Garoppolo and Teddy Bridgewater. Those guys are game managers as far as I'm concerned. But we'll keep moving. You were saying Manziel is good, but he will be gone by 8. That's obvious. John, Mr. Wilkins not thinking that's true. And then you guys kind of go at it for a little while there. Yes, we'll kind of leave that as is, if that's fine with you.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, and then 500 likes. Yep, I do appreciate that, everybody. And yes, 500 likes. I wish I had enough money to give somebody a prize for that.
Well, we do have a sponsor now.
Huh?
So now we do have a sponsor.
Yeah, yep. But yep. So it begins. The beginning, it is beginning now. 6 years late, but it's beginning. Thank God. And yes, thank you very much, Tallgrass. Indeed. Hope you're listening. You were saying Vikings debate. Who would you rather take, Manziel or Mack? I would definitely go with Khalil Mack, to be honest. Dave Mackey saying I would take Manziel. Johnny Manziel, not Manziel. Manziel. If he could keep his attitude in check for 1 year while he sits behind Castle and learns in the NFL the playbook. Otherwise, Mack. I would go Khalil Mack between Manziel, to be honest with you. That's just, obviously Khalil Mack to me is like a franchise linebacker, and we need that really bad. Brent Jacobson was saying from now on until the actual draft day, I'm going to post at least one mock draft I did on FanSpeak. Wow. Oh, that's incredible.
He's on that. I promise. He's on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of these, aren't there?
Oh, my. Well, I credit him. I can't do it. If you got the willpower to do it, go right ahead.
Mm-hmm. You just got to have Mettenberger in every single one of them or I'm going to get mad. No.
Right.
I had to say that. Oh, man.
Oh, that's a good one. Watch us take Mettenberger. You're going to be out in the streets of Minneapolis or Golden Valley just partying it up. Mardi Gras!
Just pretty much. Yep, and this is one thing, I think, you got into this earlier in the show. You actually quoted a lot of what you said there. Lots more going on. And then there was a time-lapse of the Metrodome destruction. Very cool that you posted that on there. And the Metrodome is gone, folks. It's gone. Since the last show, it is completely gone now. I would like to give a quick moment of silence to the Metrodome. And I know I've done a few of these in the past, but lots of memories in that building. Vikings fans, Twins fans, heck, even the Timberwolves played a season there, Final Fours, all that good stuff. It's over. It's over.
I actually went past the Metrodome today.
Yeah.
What are we going to call that new one? Let's call it the Viking ship. I went past the Viking ship today.
It looks like a ship, yeah, or it's going to, but yeah.
That looks sick. I'm not even joking. I was actually bragging to Seattle people about it. I'm like, you guys think your stadium's good. Hold on a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, but,
Go ahead.
I was saying, they actually got some of the posts being set up now, and they got it all dug in, and it looks like this thing is about to go up. By 2015, they are going to have this thing done early. They have made progress like crazy. I know you love watching that camera. I don't know if they're still working on it for you, but holy crap.
Yeah, they do the camera. It's a live camera on Vikings.com. You just click on New Stadium Cam or whatever, New Stadium Webcam. And I did drive by it during that horrible, right after the first period with the stupid bleeping Gopher hockey team in the championship game. After the 3-goal tsunami, I got so sick and pissed off. I drove by the stadium to see it in person, and yeah, it's becoming more of a structure now. Before, for the longest time, it was just kind of the pillars coming up. Now it is taking more of a building structure in certain areas, and it's this thing is moving quickly, very quickly, and it's going to be fun to watch. But it's going to be damn big, though, much larger than the Metrodome. So it's going to take time, but boy, they are making good of their time. You also made a very funny post here because of what the New York Jets are up to.
Oh my God.
They signed Michael Vick and Chris Johnson. Really good signings if you're playing Madden 11.
Aww.
If you're playing Madden 2011, yeah, that's a good one. That is a very, very good one. Brent Jacobson. Here it comes, the controversies. Now, I was talking about who I chose to be the quarterback, and I didn't tell anybody, but I was just saying we're going to record tonight finally. And again, I do apologize for the delay. It's just, and obviously there was no super rush because the draft still the draft was like 2 months away since the last show. So. Yeah. Felix DePel saying, now that's a pleasant surprise about the new show coming out. Brent asking the question, are you ready?
Yep.
When can I do a show with you guys? Uh-oh.
I actually talked to him about it.
Yeah, the pressure's on. He's like, get up, let me on, damn it. Right?
Well, I said, too, is we're probably going to want to do it towards the beginning of the season and have a little roundtable segment where, you, him, and I have this more of a 3-way type of discussion too, and I felt like he might have been on board with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll at least be that. Yeah, and obviously there'll be some type of draft review at some point. Again, that's usually in May at some point, probably like mid to late May. There'll be a draft review. That show always does really well. Like some of these off-season shows, the numbers are down a bit because it's just not football season, even though there's football withdrawal. And our last show did do significantly better than some of them have in the past, like around March. Sometimes I've had some pretty quiet Marches. So maybe it's the excitement with the team. Maybe it's just we're just getting better. I don't know what it is. Hopefully it's excitement. Hopefully it's both.
I honestly think we're going to actually get a big audience for this one just because from what I've seen around Purple Mafia or Minnesota Vikings Nation, we are Vikings hungry right now. And we know that we're essentially a couple missing pieces away. These are big missing pieces, don't get me wrong, middle linebacker, safety, quarterback.
Yep.
But we've got running back down, and we've got wide receiver down. Two things, a couple of years ago, we were very iffy on with Peterson's injury, and for God's sakes, we had just gotten rid of Bernard Berrien finally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but, it's something that it's progress, and it's another step forward and another step forward, and we're going to a new stadium. That only helps. Speaking of, the brand new stadium being put up, TCF Bank just tore out their field and put in the new one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yep, that's the other thing they're doing. Yeah, they tore out the field, literally like the grass, and to make adjustments for the National Football League. So TCF Bank Stadium is the home stadium for the Minnesota Vikings for now. Yes, it is for 2 years, and it's going to be interesting to have some outdoor football. It'll be great in September and October. It just gets a little bit hairy when it gets to be November and beyond. But who knows? Let's get a little home field advantage, old fashioned style.
Well, one thing I think too. Well, I saw a post saying that the Vikings aren't going to have either Monday or Thursday night games because it's on campus. And personally, perfect. I love my noon games. You want to put a noon game on? Perfectly fine with me. And I know there's a lot of us that love that too, because then it makes it easier for recording at nighttime, and it makes it easier for posting and doing the call-ins. Personally, I love noon games.
Yeah, they're easier.
And if we had just lost, which happened quite often last year, it gave me time to relax and calm down. I made a very soft, angry phone call where I wasn't dropping 10 F-bombs on Joey.
Yeah, look at you. No, I'm kidding.
I don't think that might have been able to get on air there, so that would have been a little more interesting. But, like, Joey, why didn't you put on my thing?
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
I put it on with about 100 bleeps. No.
No, but no, they didn't say anything to no Sunday night games. And I love Sunday night football. I like Thursday night football's cast, but that doesn't mean what?
Sunday seems to be the strongest matchup of the week lately. It's not Mondays anymore.
No, and
Thursdays are weird and random, but they can be good.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the big things too is the publicity of being outside now for the Vikings, and the black and blue division is going to finally start to come back. And
yeah,
I love the day games.
I do too. Yeah.
Just please, no more 3:30 games. There is no reason a football game in Minnesota needs to be played at 3:30. I'm sorry, but there's no reason.
Yeah, I don't like those. I mean, and those are generally for teams that were like further along. That's the quote-unquote prime time. Usually, that's what happened in 2010. We were filled with those because it's like, oh, Brett Favre's on the team and he got far last year, so got to be on 3:30 all the time. Yeah, I don't like those very much. Can't lie to you there. I like to just kind of get on with the game. Damn it. So as we near the end here, we're getting very close to the end, and yeah, it's another long one, but what do you expect on a draft show? It's just going to happen right that way. So at Purple Mafia Show, as you probably heard in the jingles, Anthony. So here's another Carlson. It's at Antonio Fett saying he was telling Joe Webb goodbye. I can no longer follow you. I only follow Vikings. Good luck. And he was tweeting that to me, so he wanted me to know he's unfollowed Joe Webb. Sports Porch, they're just saying thanks for the follow. This one was a Twins-related one. But Joe Mariqua was saying, fire Rick Anderson now. And Dave Martin out of Northern Scotland, wrapping things up here. And always one of the absolute great posters here. And the king of Twitter for the last several months, or a year actually, about saying, almost draft time. Football season is coming at long last. I'm almost brain dead over here. Gotta like that guy. Yep, gotta love you, Dave. Very cool. So, speaking of Dave, it's time to hand out the gold star. Yes, the gold star is going to Mr. Dave Hickey. The Dave Hickey is getting the gold star. Silver star is going to go to Dave Martin. And bronze star will go to Brent Jacobson for all those posts. I actually got to give bronze star. I'm going to tie him with Dave Martin for the silver star, just because there'll be no bronze star. They'll both get silver stars because Brent did so much mock drafts, and for having Zach Mettenberger in there, oh yeah, that's definitely got him a silver star. But Dave Hickey, definitely another gold star. He has become a Purple Mafia Hall of Famer with all the gold stars he's received. And I'm going to wrap up the show with this statement really quick. I really, you made some nice points in that call, and I'm glad that you noticed that I do take time to reach just about everybody. Sometimes if there's a big conversation, for the sake of the listenership, I mean, I don't want to just read a conversation between two people back and forth. That's kind of crazy if I did that. But, I like to get to everybody as much as I can. I do. And with the many great posts that Dave made last year, and they were so in-depth and long, this is not, I'm always scared to give out this type of thing because I don't want anybody to feel slighted or anything. But if there's the Gold Star winner for 2013 goes to Dave Hickey. He's the Gold Star winner. He is. He just had an unbelievable year last year, and this is nothing against anybody. And I hope no one is annoyed or whatever by it. But I would like to give it to Dave Hickey this year, so it stays in Iowa, if you can believe it. Am I crazy?
No. Can I personally give out a bronze star since you didn't give out one?
Yeah.
I feel like Felix has been contributing to the show a little bit more each week. I feel like he's been a good contributor to some good conversations.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he has. And really appreciate it. And the nice things he says, too, just absolutely spectacular. Really appreciate it. And again, Dylan did increase the amount of shows you can get on iTunes. I did notice that of late. So hopefully that helps. I don't know if we can ever get all of them on there, and I don't know why anybody would want to hear all of my shows, but just thought of that. That's a huge compliment. It is. I mean,
I said go back and listen to the old ones. And can I add in a little quick shout out here?
Yeah.
What was that thing you used to call like Phenomena of the Week? Somebody who didn't show up or whatever it was? You know, like in a game, like went to John Carlson like 7 times.
Urban Legend.
Urban Legend. Here's my Urban Legend.
I missed that. Yeah, I got to keep... Yeah, but then again, it's because the season's over. But yeah, go ahead.
You gave out the gold stars and silver stars. I'll give out the Urban Legend.
Yeah, definitely.
Joey being sick on Purple Mafia. There's the Urban Legend.
Oh!
But no, my little shout-out is Tyler Huntington, Caitlin Trevisky. She just liked the page. She was she was $4.99. We went from $4.98. She was $4.99. She's my sister. And then, those two are two of the people who liked or Caitlin's one of the people who liked the page. So definitely shout out. Mm-hmm. She was $4.99, one person from 500 at that point, and then 500 came that evening.
Man, yeah. No, that's really cool. $4.98 and $4.99. Very, very, very cool. Gotta like that. Yes, sir. Really do appreciate all of you that have clicked like, and it's nice to finally be over 500. I don't know why it got close and just sat there forever, but I guess that's just how it goes. And once it gets past it, now we can continue our journey towards 4 digits. Ooh, could it be?
That would be doubling our numbers.
That would be that's going to be a little journey till we get there. But who knows? Maybe with a good enough season, it'll happen sooner rather than later. But I think we've gone long enough. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think next time we need to get like a player on the show or something, then we can double our numbers.
Look at you. Yeah, definitely. So with that, we will wrap this show up. I really appreciate all of you for listening. Do tell a friend if you could. And if you'd also like to contribute to the show a bit, give us a nice review on iTunes. Would appreciate it also very much. And we will be more than happy to give you a nice, positive, happy shout out and a thank you on the show. Thanks again for listening. Hoping we take the right player. Don't think we'll be doing another show before the draft. I think it's time to put Purple Mafia back in the hopper for a bit, and that's probably why this one was so long, though, because it was in the hopper a little too long. But that's the hopper, yep. But that's just where it's going to be for a little while. Not too long, though. Until then, though, everybody stay warm and eventually stay cool, because it's probably going to get hot before you know it, too.
Thank God.
And we will be back to talk about the future superstar quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings, or so I hope, and a lot of nice defensive players as well. Take care, everybody.